Hi and hello, football fans. Dave Dameshek coming to you from Pittsburgh, or should I say Ifsburgh, to play another round of What If with Pittsburgh Steelers history. What if Franco hadn't caught the Immaculate Reception?
That's caught out of the air by Franco Harris.
Today, let's figure out what would have happened had the Immaculate Reception fallen to the Three Rivers AstroTurf instead of into Franco Harris's mitts.
Incomplete.
We now know the play launched pro football's greatest dynasty of the century, and in the short term, set the Steelers up to play the undefeated Miami Dolphins in the 1972 AFC title game. Quick detour for some subjective history. When I make a list of the best teams in the Super Bowl era, it includes Lombardi's Packers, Walsh and Montana's Niners, early 90s Cowboys, Belichick and Brady's Pats. But it's the 70s where the real juggernauts line up. Side note, Browns and Bengals, neither of you were those. There is still time this millennium, though. But consider, along with the Steelers and Raiders in the 70s, you had Shula's Dolphins, Landry's Cowboys, even Bud Grant's Vikes were great. And even amidst this murderer's row, who stood head and shoulders above the rest? The Pittsburgh Steelers, that's who. Like, say, the Thunderbolts soaring over the potato patch. Speaking of which, I'm hungry, so let me pace it up here. If Bradshaw doesn't elude the Raiders' pass rush,
Running out of the pocket.
and he doesn't wing it downfield in desperation,
Fires it downfield.
and then the ball doesn't meet Frenchie Fuqua and Jack Tatum at the intersection of hope and destiny,
And there's a collision.
and Oakland leaves Pittsburgh with a win, they'd have headed to Miami for the title game, probably still celebrating Snake Stabler's late dash to glory against the still callow Steel Curtain. And even though Miami was undefeated, they weren't unbeatable. Just as they had barely survived Pittsburgh, Oakland had had success against them and in fact stopped the Finns' roll the following year in the playoffs. That's right, Raiders guy, it's the dawn of a new day. You can open your good eye now. Fine, suit yourself, but in our new reality, the Raiders have an edge in the Orange Bowl. The weather was sunny and still, which would have more or less been a home field disadvantage for Miami's ground attack over Stabler's deep throws. So the Raiders get to the Super Bowl to play Washington. Who wins? Who cares? Okay, fine, the Raiders win, and as a result, the Steelers do too. You see, because Madden and Al Davis get their Lombardi a few years earlier than they otherwise did, Madden has now vanquished his white whale, or black and gold whale, and is therefore satiated, so he retires sooner, which sets back the Raiders but leaves him available to call Super Bowl XI between the Vikings and the Pittsburgh Steelers, who would have trounced poor Fran Tarkenton again, adding another Lombardi to the case. See, everything works out in Ifsburgh. We trade in a reception, we gain another Lombardi. Good deal.